regarding the Kohanaiki, the dedication of the Kohanaiki Coastal Park and the easement along the shoreline. I think there's a few, we've heard a lot from people today, but there's a few concepts that I want to share today with you very simply. The first is to give thanks to Akua, to say Akua has blessed this community with diversity, with differences of opinion, and but still the opportunity to kuka, to come together to talk story and figure out what's really best for the present and future generations. I would like to talk about Ohana. We have heard from the Li Ohana and others this morning, and Ohana is kind of the basis of how this all happened. The protect, what was then called Protect Kohanaiki Ohana. And in there were people of various groups and persuasions and ideas. And I look at Rebecca coming up here today, and you know, she was just a young surfer then, and she has her own family, et cetera. So things have moved along. I'd like to talk to you about Pico. It seems to me that Kohanaiki, as the mayor, as Angel and others have spoken, it really is the center point. It is the Pico of how we in a democracy work together to come up with a solution that benefits the most number of people, present and future generations. And out of Kohanaiki, and by the way, I wanted to also mention Mahealani Pai, and I also wanted to mention Jerry Rothstein, who were involved in these from the very early days. So out of Kohanaiki came the past decision. Out of that came the Kapa'akai Oka'aina, of which some of us in this room were quite involved, including your chair today, and your deputy county clerk, myself and others. And so this sort of was the center point from which the rule of law came to prevail. There were quite a few differences of opinion, but ultimately the rule of law prevailed. Now, it took some fighting, and it took a lot of, I mean, in terms of legal battles. But it has made things better. And I hope, by the way, that the next project that you, Karen, and others from Kona, Drew, Mamo, will be to go after O'oma along the shoreline, because that will complete it almost all the way out to Kiholo. And that was a vision we talked about at Kapa'akai. So, and the other thing I want to mention is Kuleana. What has happened is that the people from Kona, along with their elected officials and their appointed officials, got together and said, this is our Kuleana. We are going to work together because it's our responsibility, which is what Kuleana means. And it's a wonderful example of that. Not everything turned out the way everybody wanted, but it usually doesn't. The whole is much greater than the sum of the parts, the synergism. And finally, I'd like to say that this is an example not just of pololei, that 2 + 2 = 4, 4 + 4 = 8. That's correct, that's pololei. This is an example of pono. And it's much greater than just saying, oh, well, it's correct. The wording is right this way, and we did it this way. This is, as Mr. Morrow described to Mayor Harry, was that there was just something spiritual about this place. And all of us who have been there know that that is true. That is true, and it will remain true, and we should always remember that Maikapo mai oia i'o, that the truth does not ever require belief to exist. It's nice to believe it, and the sooner we do, the better it is. Imagine if all this had happened 30 years ago. There would have been not so many teeth that are ground down and, you know, wrinkles, et cetera, et cetera. So I would just say, e mauke'ea o ka'aina I ka pono. The life of the land shall always be perpetuated in that which is pono. And it must be. A is an imperative. It must be, and I wish you luck, and I thank you for your service to this community. I thank all the people behind me who have come today to support issues that are important to them. This is what democratic republic is all about. And we thank you for your service, and I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have any. Mahalo.